great letters I received. Two different listeners, two completely different opinions, but related issues. First, Jonathan in Seattle wrote a very articulate letter, and I'm proud to read it to you. It says, "Hey, Tom, I love the way you expose the truth behind the supposedly unequal burdens of this country's poor, oppressed women. Another popular assumption thrown in our face all the time is that women do so much more housework than men. We're always hearing about how many more hours a week they spend on housework. But we never see the list of what is counted as housework. It's usually limited to cooking and cleaning activities. Let's look at what they don't count. Things like who takes care of the auto maintenance and repairs, or for that matter, any other major kind of repairs. Who does the yard work? Honey, could you move that tree over to the corner of the yard? And then afterwards, gee, honey, I think I liked it better where it was. If it snows, who shovels the sidewalk and driveway? Who mows the lawn, trims the trees and bushes, cleans out the gutters, crawls up on the roof and puts up the stupid Christmas lights? Who does the big remodeling projects? If the car breaks down on the road, who gets under the hood of the car? Who fixes a flat tire? Okay, I didn't do the dishes this week or vacuum, but I laid on my back under the kitchen sink and repaired the plumbing, or replaced the broken garbage disposal. Who coaches the Little League teams, goes to coaches' meetings? Who sets up the connections for the computer and the TV and the stereo? Who assembles all that damn furniture you buy at IKEA? Who crawls under the house in that 3-foot-high crawl space with all the spiders and cobwebs and other crap? Who fixes the fence when it gets knocked over? When a fuse blows, do you have any idea how to fix it yourself? If the furnace goes out, who figures out how to get it going again? Who goes to Home Depot for repeated trips and hours to figure out how to do all these things? None of these are daily tasks, but they take an enormous amount of time and more than compensate for not doing the dishes. What do you think? Keep it up, Tom. Signed, Jonathan from Seattle. Jonathan is absolutely right. He is absolutely right. I completely agree with every word of that letter. And so articulately spoken, too. Plenty of illiterate morons right in here, and we make fun of them. Jonathan wrote a great letter that was right on. And I know this is an issue we'll be revisiting from time to time because I am sick and tired of hearing calculations as to what a housewife's job is worth, how much women should get paid for doing the housework, as if men's work is valueless. Just absolutely perfect. Now, a listener who is a woman named TJ writes in and says, Tom, if you or any man insists that the women you are with do not work, how do you consider it vagina-money if you separate and she needs support? It's like you are actually trying to set a woman up. You demand that she not work, which I think any woman is stupid to do, but still her choice. Then she puts a huge gap in her resume, has no way of keeping up with the current job skills of today's already fast-moving job market. She misses years of experience to offer any company, and she has to completely start over. Whereas the man leaving or being left only has to get reacquainted with the kitchen, find the hamper all by himself, and not have anyone to control but himself. Well, let me just say this. First of all, I don't demand that a woman not work. I just don't want to get involved seriously with a career woman. So it's not like I make demands and they kowtow to me. They can simply say, you know, I love you, but I can't live with you because I have to follow my career. I have to follow my dream. Never have I muscled a woman into not working. But any woman who is a career woman, I just have no interest. Simple. And I would also say, as I've always recommended on this program, there should be a prenuptial agreement. And that should be provided for in the agreement. But I don't believe the judges ought to be deciding unilaterally how much that's worth. I think the two parties should negotiate this, and that way, if they can't come to an agreement, they don't get married and it doesn't get to court. You know, I think if everybody insisted on a prenup and everybody negotiated the terms of their divorce before they got married, a lot less people would get married. And we'd all be better off. So many of these marriages that go on nowadays they're a joke. I mean, the ultimate is these reality shows, Married by America and stuff like that. We don't value marriage. We don't think about marriage. We jump in. We just jump right in. Jesus. You negotiate a prenuptial agreement that's fair, and if the two parties can't agree, don't get married. You know, it's the ultimate of being an adult. That is the ultimate maturity. And frankly, if both parties can't reach an agreement, they shouldn't get married. You think it's unromantic? Tough luck. TJ's letter continues. She says, it seems that you want a woman to be completely dependent upon you because a dependent woman is an accommodating woman. However, her punishment for no longer wanting to be a doormat or live her life as a child, children are dependent, adults are responsible, and contribute to a household as an adult, is that she be kicked to the curb and have to scratch her way from the bottom. All because she made the decision to want to be with you and agree to your terms. You punish women for accommodating men. You hold it against a woman for doing exactly what you want her to do. With you, women are damned if they do and damned if they don't. You even insult women who currently are stay-at-home wives or mothers, but you insist that is where women belong, in the bay window of the kitchen, happily preparing to serve her man. I don't insult women who stay at home. I absolutely don't. I said I wouldn't date a single mother. But if you're married, and you're taking care of your kids and your husband, I don't make fun of that. I think that's great. It's the women who said, oh, I don't need a man. I'm independent. I'll have a kid on my own. Women love to say how independent they are while they're busy picking your pocket. Oh, yes, women are equal, women are independent. How can a man see women as equal when they're constantly demanding vagina money, child support, that we pay the rent, that we pay the bills, that we buy them dinner and drinks? Why? Why would any man see a woman as an equal? Women are not equal. They are all welfare recipients to one extent or another. They got their hand. Yes, I said all, because to some extent or another, women are taking from us. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing in it for a man. Nothing. How can I see a woman as an equal when she wants my money? How can I see her as independent when she wants my money? Women are not equal and independent. They are dependent. They are childlike. They are lazy and don't want to work. They complain when they have to do any work. They complain that they have to come to the office every day or show up for the entire day. Please, why would I see women as independent equals? They're not. They're like dependent children. Are there exceptions? Well, yeah, I'd say there are exceptions, but by and large, generally speaking, generalizing here, generally, women want to take, and then they want to say how independent they are and how they can't understand why men don't see them as equal partners. In business, equal partners pay equally, have equal responsibilities, pay debts equally. Those are equal partners. Women are not equal partners in most cases. Women are welfare recipients. TJ goes on to say in her letter, I question the self-security of any man who needs a woman to be so little and so dependent just to appease his manhood. Aren't you a man regardless of whether or not you have a woman to control and have at your beck and call? Guess what? I don't need a wife or a girlfriend. I don't. I don't. I lived alone for a couple of years. I've been perfectly happy living alone. I've loved it. Loved it. Do not need a woman around. Occasionally as a sperm depository, yes, but I do not need a woman other than that. You can't count on women to be around anyway. Women love to talk about how men bolt and men are deadbeats, but you know what? You can't count on women to stay around. You can't. She goes on to say, is a man's value gauged by how little his woman values herself? Well, see, there again. You assume that somebody who has as their job keeping a home has little value. Keeping a home is a valuable and honored profession. Shows how little you know to think that a woman whose primary responsibility is keeping the house has little value. I don't think that woman has little value. I think she has a lot of value. TJ goes on to say, just wondering, Tom, I still enjoy your show, but I just noticed and was compelled to point out that all your philosophies end with, it's the woman's fault, and all your rules demand that the woman put her security completely in the hands of a man, so that should he mess up, she will be less likely to hold him accountable because she has to think twice about how she will be able to survive if she has to start over on her own. It's a good game, cowardly and unfair, but I doubt equity with any woman has ever been a goal of yours. Again, let me repeat, you cannot have equity with somebody who is taking. You cannot. And I must tell you that every experience I've had with women and every experience I've heard about with the men I know with women is the same. Honey, let's get a joint checking account. Honey, I want to get an ATM card. Honey, I want to get one of your, can you give me one of your gold cards? Honey? Yeah. Let's get married. We'll have the same last name. How can you see that person as an equal? How can you? How can there be equity in that? I'll tell you what, the day I meet a completely independent woman who doesn't need a man at all, that'll be the woman who, when you go to dinner, you go Dutch, and then the two of you have sex after that. And then I move into her house. And she can pay the mortgage and I'll pay the phone bill, okay? You know what? How many women would accept that deal? But there are men listening to me right now who have that deal. Plus, they do all the heavy lifting. How can you see a woman being in a role of equity? Please. I doubt equity with any woman has ever been a goal of yours. Hey, it's a goal of mine. I'd like to find a woman who would be equal to me. Haven't found one yet. I dated, in my time, one woman who made much more money than I did. She owned a string of cosmetic shops in South Florida. And if she wasn't a loon, I probably would have hung out with her for a while, because she was very hot. But in all the years I dated, that was like it. That was as far as I went. Mostly, women make less money than I do, and they want to put their hand in my back pocket, and it's not to grab my ass. How could I ever see a woman as an equal? Please. TJ ends her email by saying, well, Tom, I'll be talking to you. I always get through, but the last time I got through to ask these questions, I was left on hold for a long time. Here, I love nothing more than a woman calling up and arguing with me on the air. Love it. As you will see this hour, love it. Tom. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Oh, man, it is good to hear your voice.
Yes, I know.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Michelle, on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Do you care, Michelle?
I can't believe you. I've just been tuning you on like the last week or so, and I just can't believe how you think about women. I'm just shocked.
Well, what is it you can't believe?
I just can't believe how you think they're, sponging off of this, sponging off of that.
If any woman is receiving child support or alimony, she is a sponge. She is a welfare recipient. How could I see someone financially dependent on me as an equal?
You know what? My girlfriends are all single, and some are married, and most of them all their life have worked and had men sponging off of them.
That's why they're still single.
Well, some of them are single. Some of them are young and single, and some of them are older and then divorced. Because some of these men are either they meet them and they're great guys, and all of a sudden they're either drug addicts or alcoholics.
Oh yes, all of a sudden, the minute the wedding is over, they go and stick a needle in their arm. Please, you know what? These guys were trouble in the first place, but women like bad boys and hook up with the guys who do all the bad things. And they ignore Poindexter and all the nice guys. They go right for the bad guys, thinking they can reform them. And then when they can't, they say what jerks we are. Look, whose fault is it that they pick these guys?
Well, you know what? How about some of the women?
No. Answer my question. Whose fault is it that they pick bad men?
Sometimes themselves.
Not sometimes. 100% of the time. You don't really believe that we all become alcoholics the minute the honeymoon is over, do you?
No, I don't believe
You don't really believe we become drug addicts the second we get out of the limo after the wedding, do you? No. So, who's picking the drug addicts, the alcoholics, the F-arounds? Who's picking them?
But, I have to admit, though, some of these guys do play good catch, and some of them don't even show their...
No, we don't. No, that's not what it is. It is that women see us as bad boys who they're going to reform. Women think they're going to change us. They're going to dress us differently. We're going to eat with the correct fork and knife and spoon. They're going to clean us up. Women are into makeovers. That's why they like watching that on TV. I mean, women are fascinated with the idea of taking a bad boy and reforming him. Then, when he won't cooperate, then to say what bad men we are.
I have a friend that's a great girl.
Stop marrying bad men if you think men are bad.
And she married a guy who was great, and all of a sudden, a year later, he cheats on her, and she gives up her career, and then she...
And who did he cheat on when he first met her?
He didn't.
Come on. I hear these stories all the time.
I swear. I know this one for a fact.
I love how many women have affairs with married men, and then the guys finally leave their wives, and then they go, oh, great, he's with me now, and then he screws around on her, and it's like, I can't believe he did that.
This girl was single and established.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate the call, Michelle.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
That's our telephone number. It's Christy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Great.
Hey, I was calling to talk to you. I listen to you a lot and usually agree with most of what you say, but I have a little bone to pick about the whole child support issue and you calling it welfare. I'm wondering why a man's responsibility to those kids would end once the parents go through a divorce.
I'm not saying that it would, but what I am saying is that women are not required to prove they spent the money on children, that while there are some people who pay child support amounts that are less than what it would cost to support a child, many people pay much more than it costs to raise a child.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And I don't see why a woman should be able to add to her shoe fund or her accessories fund or her clothing fund in the name of child support. That's welfare.
Well, I agree with you there, but I do feel like...
And I also don't see why a woman with children doesn't have to show receipts, just like if I got audited by the IRS. I would have to prove all my deductions or they wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, but, do you keep every receipt for your groceries every month?
Guess what? You know what? If someone else were paying for my groceries, it wouldn't be unreasonable to keep my receipts.
Well...
And I'll tell you what, here at work, I'll give you an example. Here at work, for example, here at the office, if I go to Seattle, let's say, and I have lunch and dinner, and I take a taxi, and I tip a bellman at the hotel, you bet I have to keep receipts for all that stuff if I want to get reimbursed. And if I don't keep receipts, I don't get reimbursed. This is not unreasonable.
I understand that in a business point.
But the point is, it should not matter if it's a bit. You know what? Marriage is a business. It is a partnership, a 50-50 partnership that is treated like a corporation. And therefore, the same rules should apply.
So do you think if a woman kept her receipts all month long and turned them into the X at the end of the month, that the child support would be a moving target every month?
No, I would assume if what women say is true, that we don't pay enough to support a child, that the receipts would bear that out.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think I agree with you on most of what you're saying.
I don't think what I'm saying is so unreasonable. We make it possible for women to take a free ride, and then they want to be considered equals.
Yeah, and I don't agree with that. I see women who are divorced and are still not working, and I'm not quite sure how that works.
Yes, well, that's another thing. Why should any woman get alimony?
Yeah, well, in Washington, we don't have alimony. Community property state, and...
No, well, California's a community property state, and we have alimony.
We don't have it here, so...
No, actually, there is alimony, but you have to be married a certain period of time, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But why should there be alimony?
Yeah, I think everybody should be able to take care of themselves.
Because women are poor, delicate little flowers who need welfare from their ex-husbands.
Well, I'm not.
I mean, the reason we call it vagina-mony is because a man is it's like making lease payments on a car after the lease is up. You rented that vagina for a few years, you got to drive that car, and when the payments haven't expired, you keep paying, even though you don't get to use it anymore.
Okay. Do the women get to rent the penis, too?
Well, women don't have to pay to rent a penis. That's the point.
That is true. All right. Well, I can say I agree with you most of the way.
There we go.
All righty.
All right, Christy. Thank you. You too. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Yvette on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Yvette.
I just want to say that I really, really like you, and I consider you like my big brother. So I tell everybody Tom's my big bro. I was calling because this whole issue about you saying, that we're collecting, welfare when they collect collect child support and all that stuff. I'm 21, so I don't have any kids, and I'm not married or anything like that, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I know I'm a very independent person,
Have you ever heard of alimony?
I've heard of alimony, but
yeah. Now, would you say that a woman who is getting paid by her ex-husband is independent?
Not completely, but then again...
Not at all.
But hold on, did she or did she not sacrifice several years of her life? Like, she didn't work, she didn't do anything else. But
you know what? You say sacrifice. There are many women who are just lazy and don't want to work. Then, after years of not working, they go, now you owe me.
Well, that's after after they get divorced.
Well, but that's when you pay alimony.
I know, but see, they made the choice, so they made the choice to stay home.
But they made the choice. That's the word. They made the choice.
Yeah.
They made it.
And it was like...
Nobody made them stay home. If women are so independent, they were free to go to work, weren't they?
Tom, but
and they didn't.
Stay home. I know. My mom chooses to stay home because she wants to, maintain the family environment, which is good. It's like an employment choice. You choose to either work for job A or job B.
Well,
she chose job A.
I believe that's the case. If you expect to be compensated for that, that should be in your prenuptial agreement.
Exactly.
And if it isn't, I don't think that the judge should have the right to come in and meddle in your personal business affairs.
Exactly. I'm completely, I know when I get married, I'm going to get a prenup, and I recommend that to everybody in the world because, divorces are, normal nowadays.
Once guys find out how much it'll cost to get married, a lot less will do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I just wanted to let you know that I wasn't completely in accord with that whole thing of you acting like we're all on welfare, which I don't associate myself with those kind of people.
Because you're not divorced yet and got your hand out like so many women.
Yeah, but then when you said that whole, going on dates and going Dutch and still having sex and stuff,
yeah.
I do that. I pay for my own dinner. I'm a very independent person. I consider myself.
But you know how rare that is.
Well, then I'm a rare kind. Yay me.
Well, again, I always say it, but women have hearing problems, as you know. I always say, are there exceptions? Of course there are. So what? There are exceptions. What does that prove?
That proves that, yay for me and...
Exceptions prove the rule.
Huh?
Exceptions prove the rule.
Exactly. Yeah, but there are a lot of girls, you are right, there are a lot of girls that completely fit your description on,
Hands out.
Mm-hmm.
Hands out. And then, I'm an independent woman. I don't need a man. And right at the same time, they go into the mailbox, pick up their vagina-mony checks. I'm independent. I'm an independent woman. I don't know why men don't see me as an equal. That's because men are paying you, sweetheart. Of course you're not an equal.
But that's a few women that are collecting alimony. Not all of us are collecting alimony, Tom.
No, but women collect alimony in various ways, including when they expect us to pick up the tab for dinner, drinks, the rent, mortgage, pay the majority of the bills, or whatever so many women expect from us. Now, maybe you don't expect that, but you know as well as I do that most women do.
Yeah, I know. I did for a long time, dude.
All right. Well, then you made my point. As long as you're doing that, we will never consider you an equal.
I did, but I came into a realization. I broke up with my boyfriend, got out dating and just figured a new way of doing it because I didn't want to be a
Now you're just hooking up, right?
Basically.
There we go.
Life is good. 21, 26 should be single.
Well, you know what? We like the idea, too, because when we just hook up, we don't have to spend any money.
Exactly.
I like it.
It's fun, there should be no binding relationship.
More hooking up. I'm in favor of more hooking up. Less dating, more hooking up.
Exactly.
I'm all over it.
Random.
I've been ahead of the curve on this for a long time. I've been a member of the hooking up club for a very long time. The dating thing I'm not into.
See, that's the whole thing. Like, ever since I started listening to you, dude, you totally reversed my whole scheme on dating and boys and everything. It's just like I'm into school, I'm into work, and not into relationships. Good.
No pressure on the guys who date you. Good.
No pressure at all.
Or who hook up with you.
Huh?
Or the guys who hook up with you.
Well, it's not like randoms, but like, people I know.
People you know. You only hook up with people you know.
People I know, yeah. Or I don't do randoms because I think that's dangerous.
I only hook up with hot chicks.
Oh. Then we should hook up, Tom.
Oh, Yvette, look at you.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Does your question have anything to do with what I'm discussing on the air this hour?
No.
That means that's the end of the call.
My question.
You bet.
The Tom Leykis Show.
It's Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Amanda, on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Amanda.
How are you doing today?
Do you care, Amanda?
Of course.
I'm doing great.
Perfect. Well, hey, this is my theory. I am a true believer of people having to pay for their mistakes. For instance, I'm 25 years old. I have a 4-year-old son. I was a single mom for the first 1.5 years of his life. I'm now married, have another child. I did not go after child support from his father. The state automatically started taking it from him because I had to receive medical through the state. So as far as I'm concerned, I have had to pay for the mistake of having a child by...
But you decided to have a child.
No, we
didn't. You did.
I gave him a choice. We went to...
But you still made the decision yourself.
No. We made the decision as...
You could have said, I don't want to have a child.
You're right. I could have. But I gave him the option. And I told him, you do not want to have this child. I will not have this child. However, he said, I will have this child and raise this child with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he did not end up doing that. He ended up screwing around with other people because he decided he didn't want to be a responsible parent.
Uh-huh.
So, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, he has to pay for it. However...
Pay for what?
He has to pay for...
Screwing around. And how many situations like that do we have out there? Where guys are paying child support as a penalty for screwing around. That's what it is.
You cannot even... me or any single mom cannot expect a child support payment every month. I have not seen a child support payment from him for 4 months, and I could really care. I really could give a crap. The last time my son got money from his father, it was a $14 check.
Uh-huh.
That is not fair to my son.
By the way, speaking of paying for mistakes, dear, who picked this irresponsible guy?
Well, I did, of course.
There we go. Shouldn't you have to pay for your mistakes?
I told you, I am paying for my mistake. I completely agree. I am paying for my mistake. I am not unhappy with the decision that I made. I am happy, however, that I did lose, or I dumped the loser. Absolutely. I am happy for that. Because I came back to life. However, I have had to suffer for a short time as a single mom financially, and now he has to suffer. He is not going to get away with the decision he made because I can't get away from it.
I see. So you're going to press charges against him? Is that the deal?
Press charges against him for what?
Not pay.
You know what? The IRS takes it from him. I just got his IRS check, and I'm sure he is not a happy camper.
Uh-huh.
You know what? That's another mistake that he made, and he's having to pay for that. It's not my fault. He's not paying.
Well, because you have to depend on us, we do not see you as equals. Bottom line.
Have you ever been a mother? You don't even have...
Not to my knowledge.
Have you even spent 24 hours with a child?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
On your own without another woman
Yes,
there?
I have. Yes, I have.
You have. And
yes.
how did that go for you?
What do you mean, how did it go for me?
Was it a pleasant experience for you?
Oh, it was work.
It was work, wasn't it? It's hard work.
Oh, it's work, but that, again, if I chose to do it, that's work I chose to do, just like if I chose to do other hard work. If I chose to make a sculpture, or if I chose to build a house with my bare hands, it's a lot of work, but I chose to do it. I love how women love to talk about all this work they're forced to do when they are the ones who decide to have children in the first place.
No, it is...
It is never a joint decision. It is never a joint decision.
It is not always a joint.
No, it is never a joint decision because he can say, I want you to have the child, and you can say, no.
You're right. We do have a right to say no.
No, you are the only one who has a right to an opinion.
What do we do in a situation there where somebody is married and the guy goes off and screws off with another woman?
See, again, this is what you want him to pay for, and your true colors show because you keep bringing that up. It has nothing to do with child support, but that's what you want him to pay for.
And I think you mentioned...
And by the way, if you ever read the laws that created child support in the first place, it has nothing to do with whether somebody screws around. But, dear, you've proven my point for me. He screwed around, and now you want him to pay through child support.
You did not hear me when I told you that the state automatically went after him.
But you're happy to see it, and you've got his IRS refund check.
I haven't seen a damn check in 4 months.
I don't see you sending the money back, darling.
Say that again?
I don't see you sending the money back.
Because I'm not getting it.
There you go. Because you are a recipient. You are dependent. You are not an equal. You are a dependent.
Oh, God.
And for that reason, men will never see you as an equal.
1-800-5800-TOM.
Really?
1-800-5800-866.
I know when my dad took the strap to me, I damn well deserved it.
Nobody deserves that.
You don't think you learned a lesson along the way? You turned out all right, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm 46 and I learned not to have kids. That's what I learned.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. This is D on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Do you care, D?
Well, first off, I want to congratulate the woman that you just spoke to. She has a lot of great points, and I have to ask you, do you have any children?
Not to my knowledge, thankfully.
Okay, so how can you comment about child support?
Very easily. You don't have to have a child to comment on child support. By the way, you don't have to kill anyone to have an opinion about murder. Do you think murder is wrong? Do you think murder is wrong? Do you think murder... I'm not going to let you keep talking like that. I'm asking you a question and you will answer it. Do you think murder is wrong?
For acceptance...
Okay, again, I'm not going to let you say another word until you answer this question. Do you think murder is wrong? Do you?
Excuse me?
Do you think murder is wrong?
It depends on the circumstance.
Oh, so it's okay to kill people sometimes?
You know what? I believe an eye for an eye.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do.
Oh, very nice. Now, have you ever killed anyone?
No, I have not.
Well, how can you have an opinion about it if you've never killed anyone?
Well, let me just say this.
How can you have an opinion about it if you never killed anyone?
Everyone has a right to an opinion.
Oh, everyone has a right to an opinion. You're exactly right, and that's how I feel about child support. I don't have to have children have an opinion about it. Any more than you have to have an opinion about murder, or have to kill somebody to have an opinion about murder.
The other...
I've had enough. You know what? You hung yourself there, dear. Thanks so much for the call.
The Tom Leykis Show.